Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. More than 5 million Australians are estimated to volunteer with various organisations each year, while another 1.5 million provide informal volunteering support within their community. And there are a lot of businesses that support their staff taking time off work to help others in a formal volunteer leave arrangement. Among other things, it boosts morale and it can be an attractive asset in the hiring process. Plus, it's just a really good thing to do. Leading financial expert Helen Baker explains volunteer leave to Chris Ashmore.
It's one that's becoming much more common now. So this is actually about employees or management who want to take time off and go and do some work doing something that's volunteering. So there's essentially a social reward for them, a personal reward and an alignment with their values. And they're just taking that time away from their office, either paid or unpaid, depending on what they've negotiated with their employer.
Is volunteer leave something that's increasing in the workforce?
I think it is. I don't have the stats on it, but I think just by pure nature, we've become people who care more about the environment, more about people, more about what's happening out there and whether we can make a difference and sort of leaving a good footprint on this planet as we leave it rather than taking away from it. So I think it is something that will continue to increase. And I think going through what we've gone through in these last years has made people really think about what they value and how can that work and how can there be more flexibility in their workplace and what they're doing to give more reward than just going to work and doing the 9 to 5.
What kind of activities are people doing when it comes to volunteering, do you know?
Well, I think there's a range. I know some people where they're out there actually trying to assist the homeless. For myself, we do some charity work with a big part of our business is helping those less fortunate than us. So for me, it can be something like going out and presenting. But recently I did a trip to Timor. I have a connection there and they fly people out who are struggling with medical issues and get them to somewhere safety, or for women who are struggling with having babies, get to try and save both lives rather than just one life. So there are a lot of different things that you can do out there, either hands-on or supporting with money and visiting and encouraging. And, one of the other ones we've done is connections who have gone out to certain countries where the girls are in prostitution as their only way to earn income and just doing their manicures and touching their hands in a way that actually makes them feel like a person rather than what they're sort of having to do just to earn money.
Some activities might involve a couple of hours or a day, but others, they would need a week off or more.
Yeah, I think so. And even the travel, depending on where you're trying to go in order to do the work that you want to do, a lot of things may be in a third world country or something similar. So it is going to take a little bit of time off to travel. Maybe it's a week or a bit longer, and that might be a combination then of people using their personal leave with a little bit of add-on volunteer leave so that they can give back. And I think from financial advice perspective, when you're looking at investments, there are so many companies who are now looking at what they call that ESG or being socially responsible. So for them to be able to say, this is our team who are going out to do this, it gives them great profile, I think, and people who want to invest will probably lure more to those kind of companies if they're still, making money for them at the same time.
A small business might find it tough to lose any staff member's time other than ESG and those kinds of things. Any other benefits to a company with volunteer leave?
I think it goes back to productivity. People are not machines, they are people. So they are motivated. That they will be probably more motivated on one day than another, or more motivated for one project than another. So if they've got things in their life that are making them happy, that are asserting them and making them feel really good about what they're doing, they're likely to work more efficiently and be more productive doing the work that they're doing. So you'd argue that, you probably overall they might be working less but be doing more work because they're happy and there's a connection to this other side, and they also feel respected, I think, in what they're doing.
What companies do you know are offering volunteer leave?
I remember years ago there was one, it was called the Brisbane Basket Brigade, and they give hampers at Christmas time for those who are less fortunate. And when I first started, there was probably about 10 to 15 people that would be there, and now there's like thousands of people that go to help with that. So it's just built its own awareness, and people are getting their staff to go from all ranges of companies as their thing to do to give back at Christmas. So there's different seasons, obviously, people probably do more, and I think it's just about planning for it. The more notice you have, the easier it is for a small business.
How can a business make it work? I assume planning is an important part.
Yeah, I definitely think planning, particularly in a really small business, it makes it hard to cover people because people kind of have a specific job and a specific role. And so, again, making it a part of your team discussions, this is what I'd like to do, how can I make that work, this is the time frame. You can also consider whether or not it's a permanent thing that person volunteers regularly to do that. And then maybe it's a consideration for a job share for someone else to cover a different aspect. It's when people in businesses take time off unexpectedly, particularly if it's a long period of time, that's what really impacts businesses. So having it up there, up front, talking about it, making a plan for it should make businesses come through both of this being successful for the employee, successful for them, and successful for the people that they're helping.
That was financial advisor Helen Baker. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.